and why they may never go to the Super Bowl with the defense as they have. Alright, so looking at their offense course, it's Ben Roethlisberger, and surprisingly, they did draft Mason Rudolph in the third round, probably to be the future starting quarterback to compete with Landry Jones and Joshua Dobbs. But you know how interesting this all is now? I think, 2 years ago, Roethlisberger was talking about retirement and how, he might step away from it. And I thought, okay, this makes sense. He's been banged up a lot. He's had a lot of ankle injuries that could be taken away on him. But now, he goes, well, I could play for another 5 years. Yeah, there's no hiding it anymore. The guy was contemplating retirement to get rid of offensive coordinator Todd Haley, who transformed that Pittsburgh offense from being an above average to being one of the top offenses. I think last season was the 2017 was the first time they didn't have Haley, and it still performed well, mostly because of the surrounding talent that they have. But come on, it's not like Roethlisberger was actually considering retirement. No, this guy wanted Todd Haley gone because he had some beef, God knows what it was, and now he wanted. And now that Haley's gone and sees legitimate competition like in Mason Rudolph, now he's saying, I can play for another 5 years. Yeah. I don't believe that. Yeah. I believe that. And of course, at running back, you still have the ever-talented Le'Veon Bell. And please, for the love of God, Steelers, give him his money. Just get him to his long-term contract. He's a great running back. And you guys just love playing this little cat and mouse game because, running backs don't get paid that high. They don't get a lot of money. But you guys love playing this cat and mouse game. But seriously, you're going to lose him at some point. Just pay the man. Pay the damn man. Your backups, of course, are James Conner. You got a couple other players, but let's face it, it's probably going to be James Conner and Le'Veon Bell. Seeing it, that's mostly going to be Le'Veon Bell. Getting 500 touches a season. Wide receiver, you still have Antonio Brown, who surprisingly has been there for 9 years. Only feels like he's only been there for 6, but I guess that's how time is just quicker than you think. And now you have Juju Smith-Schuster being the number 2 instead of the ever-suspended Martavis Bryant, who they traded to the Raiders. Third receiver is kind of an open competition. Could be either James Washington, who they draft in the second round. In the second round. They got a couple other players they would like to try, but it's probably just going to be Smith-Schuster, James Washington, and Antonio Brown being your main 3. At tight end, you got Jesse James and Vance McDonald, though one of them is probably going to be traded, and it might be James. Might be. And of course, summing up all the weapons, it's still a very good collection of weapons that they have. I think James Washington might struggle a little bit because, Big 12. He played in the Big 12 his college career, and that's not a defensive-oriented conference, if you know what I mean. And finally, looking at the offensive line, you got Villanueva at left tackle, Marcus Skill at the right. Then you have Castro and Foster mainly the inside, and Marquise Pouncey playing the center. Overall, this is still a dominant offense. This is still one of the best offenses in the NFL. I still think this is going to they're going to get in a lot of high-scoring contests and be one of the better, and still probably be a good threat to a lot of teams in the AFC. Question is whether or not their defense, their defense can catch up. And looking at their defense, it's always pretty disappointing. Their defensive line is good. You got Cameron Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, and Javon Hargrave making the front 3. And of course, going back to the offensive line, it's still a very good offensive line as long as you can stay healthy, yada yada yada. But I really want to go on to their defense because, like I said, the front 3 is very good, and even edge rushers. when it comes to it, TJ Watt turned out to be a very pleasant surprise. He was very good, being nominated for Defensive Rookie of the Year. And they have Bud Dupree, who I think could be on the trading block. You know what's one thing I would love to see? Them trading Dupree for Marcus Golden, a trade with the Arizona Cardinals. Because Marcus Golden would definitely fit more and would be a better pass rusher for them. And Bud Dupree would go to Arizona. I mean, he wouldn't necessarily be a starter, but I think he probably might fit what Arizona's doing, the 4-3, the traditional 4-3 scheme, a little better than Golden. But hey, that's just a theory. But now we get to their real weakness, the inside linebacker. Unfortunately, Ryan Shazier still rehabbing, trying to recover from that gruesome injury, and may he be able to fully play. Well, I wouldn't say football again because I don't know if he'll be allowed to, but hopefully, he can get back to where he was, being one of the better players. And it was a sad thing to see. But the rest of the inside linebackers is a huge weakness. There's no real clear leader or starter. I mean, it was Shazier calling the shots, being the real man in front. And yeah, they drafted Terrell Edmunds, but the guy's a safety. I doubt he's going to be thrown inside at the inside linebacker position. I mean, is that the plan? Or they're going to throw Morgan Burnett, who they signed over the offseason, at inside linebacker? I don't see a plan, trying to replace Shazier. They need to go in with this aspect that Shazier might not be able to play football again. But looking at their depth and looking to see who's still there, it feels like there's this thought process that Ryan Shazier might be back. No, do not go with that thought process. You have no idea if he's going to be back. And really, I think I saw a couple reports saying they're probably going to look at Vince Williams, but still, this is a core linebacking core. They have no idea who's going to be the main guy, who's going to be the starter at all, and they're just relying on certain players to step up. I think there was a plan to get an inside linebacker through the draft, probably draft like Leighton Vander Esch or Rasheed Evans, who could have fell in the draft but just didn't. But this is not something that they really. This is something pretty bad for them. I think not having a good inside linebacker for this team is going to hurt them tremendously. It's going to hurt the defense in more ways than not. And of course, looking at the secondary, is below average. Right now, their main corner right now is Artie Burns, who is at best above average. I think he does have some good moments, mixing with some bad moments. He's at best a good complement corner, but he's not. But he's no Richard Sherman. He's no Patrick Peterson. He's no true shutdown corner. He's not a guy that you would say, okay, I can trust you to cover A.J. Green and have no trouble whatsoever. He's not the guy I would trust going up against, say, like I said, A.J. Green. He's a guy I would say, okay, go up against freaking Emmanuel Sanders. Some sort of the complement, the second wide receiver. That's who I think he could handle. But it's a problem. They got some other corners that they might try out. They still have Joe Hayden, who they traded for during the season. They got Cody Sensabaugh, Cameron Sutton, Brian Allen. They got some players they want to try, but secondary has always been a real problem for this team. The Patriots have picked that apart constantly. It's problematic for this team. It's very problematic. And the safeties, like I said, they drafted Terrell Edmunds in the first round. And if you ever did anything on Terrell Edmunds, he wasn't even classified as a first rounder. He was classified as this day 2 player, and he took him in the first round as a huge reach. Again, again, they signed Morgan Burnett. When I looked at Terrell Edmunds, here's what they said: fast, knows where the ball is, but he can't play single high. He takes bad angles to the ball. And when he hits, he takes the punish of it more than he should. That's not a linebacker to me. Sure, he's fast. He knows where the ball's going to go, but he takes bad angles. He's not necessarily a playmaker, and he can't play deep, which means you're probably going to have freaking Sean Davis be the single high safety who's average at best. It's a problematic secondary. It's a problematic defense. It doesn't have the type of players. And I hold them to a high self-esteem for this because this is the iron defense. This is something the Steelers have been known for a long time. And this defense isn't that good. It's something that's held them back throughout the postseason when it really needed to step up. It struggled. I mean, when you look at the team, when you look at the divisional round against the Jaguars, the defense folded. It allowed 49 points to Blake Bortles. That is a sign that there is a goddamn problem. But I digress. Looking at their schedule, this is a playoff team. Of course, they're probably going to make it to the playoffs. They have to face the NFC South and the AFC West. I feel like I'm on repeat many times. First game is, of course, against the Browns. I feel like the NFL just loves to torture Cleveland at this point. And of course, they play against the Chiefs, who they always seem to do very well against. They always seem to have a one-sided affair against them. It might happen again, considering this is not a primetime game. This is just a regular noon game. But hey, there's something. They kind of have an early bye week at week 7, but then things get ramped up to an 11. Just look at some of the tough games they have to go against. Jaguars, Panthers, Chargers, Patriots, and Saints back-to-back. It's definitely a tough schedule. They're going to have a very tough time because now they're playing against some more playoff teams. Oh, and of course, early on, probably the only team that can give them real trouble is the Falcons. But looking at the rest of the schedule, they're going to have some tough times. I mean, if they can't beat the Patriots, which I think that's a game that could be flexed into the primetime slot, it's going to be a real challenge for this team. Especially, I also think the Saints game might get flexed to the primetime slot. But I do see this team making the playoffs. I see this team probably going 11-5, maybe 12-4. But it's a tough one for them. I think they might struggle against the Jaguars. I think they might struggle against the Patriots, against the Saints, against the Chargers, against the Falcons. I see this team making the playoffs again, but I think they'll probably go as far as the divisional round. It's a good team, not a great team. I don't know if they can finally get over that hump, whether it's against the Jaguars or even the Patriots, and make the Super Bowl one last time, but it's just a huge challenge for this team. And that defense, that damn defense. We'll wrap up the AFC North